I didn't know the Lions traded Shannon Sharp or Tony Gonzalez. Stop. He's an elite run blocker. No, he's not. You say, oh, we stink. Okay, well, get the guys out of here that are mid. Because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not true. I'm into the people that say, well, Brad Holmes, he didn't go get anybody in free agency after this year. With what? They have $3 million in cap space right now. With what? You know, now that they shipped off Hawkinson, they have $25 million in cap space. They can turn that into $50+ million with a couple of moves. TJ Hawkinson, the trade, the dust has kind of settled on that right now. And if you guys will allow me for a second here, I'm stunned, I'm shocked, I'm disgusted by a lot of the reaction that I've seen from Detroit Lions fans on social media channels, in and around town, throughout sports media, all of it. I didn't know the Lions traded Shannon Sharp or Tony Gonzalez. I wasn't aware of that. Because, guys, Brad Holmes got you a couple of pick swaps, and you don't have to pay the guy anymore. You don't have to pay a mid-tight end $9.5 million next year. You don't have to pay a mid-tight end $13 million a year in his free agency deal. You don't have to do that anymore. Just like that overnight. And I hear people with the talking points, right? It's like they have their index card talking points to where, well, this organization stinks, and why did you? That's not Brad Holmes' fault. He's here to clean it up. He's cleaning it up. And now all of a sudden, in typical Detroit sports fashion, everybody, this reminds me, Terry, of the Lindsey Hunter and Terry Mills for Shaq era. Like all of a sudden, TJ Hawkinson is Tony Gonzalez or something like that.
Right. I didn't understand why people were so upset about this. Now there's another narrative. Since the trade, Brad Holmes can't draft now. So he's not going to be able to get players to replace him.
Yeah, and that's my other favorite thing about this. How much more data do you need? And you want to ignore data with Brad Holmes. Spence, I have some data. How about we do a player reveal? How about that? I have some data on everybody's hero, TJ Hawkinson. Player A, 67 catches, 723 yards, 6 touchdowns. Player B, 72 catches, 670 yards, 6 touchdowns. Player A is TJ Hawkinson's best year in 2020. Player B is Logan Thomas when Taylor Heineke was his quarterback. That's his best year. Enough with this about TJ Hawkinson. Brad Holmes turned water into wine with this. The cap relief, a couple of pick swaps. You have 6 of the first 65 picks as it sits right now. Stop with this. Stop. He's an elite run blocker. No, he's not.
Right.
Stop it.
We've seen it play out. How much more data do you need? Goodbye. What's everybody sit here and complain about? Get players in here that can play. Then he ships off a mid player and everyone loses their mind. My favorite is, oh, he could have got more. Brad Holmes could have got. This was the absolute maximum that he could do. The absolute max. And I'm not having it, and I'm not upset.
Can I ask Terry, yesterday before this went down, we were having this conversation, if you traded Hawkinson, what would you get? And the consensus was maybe a 5th rounder. Did you think that what they got for this was a positive move for this organization, for where they're at? And you can't hold, to Neil's point, is that if we're moving forward, what this just tells me is what Sheila just came out and said. It's almost like when I talk about Steve Yzerman. When he talks, listen to what he says. When Sheila said this was a tear down and a rebuild, the coach and the GM have 6 years and 5 years. Well, guys, I'm under the reality that I realize that this clock that we set up for a 2-year span, yeah, we can give our opinion on it, but it doesn't mean anything to what game plan is going on there. To me, you can be upset a little bit. Like I asked you coming in here, well, what's the deal? Why are people upset with not keeping them? Because you had them under the control, because you're always preaching about the rookie contract and stuff like this. But then when you dig deeper and say your compensation only goes towards if he signs an elite contract moving forward, but the fact that he saved $9.5 million from next year and then $13.5 or whatever it is in the next 2 years to be able to go, what I look at it as Brad Holmes pretty much said is that, okay, we need this money for our defense, for our free agency, because we aren't able to pick up free agents. So again, it's just the process. And I guess, Terry, my question to you, is this process now moving forward with what they got back? Is their game plan in place? Is it apparent to you, or was this just a bad deal?
It's clearly apparent to me, because what the Lions could have done was do nothing and then try to hoodwink us by saying, well, we're still in it and we're trying to salvage the season. No, you know what they said? Season's done. We're baked.
Because it is, and they are.
Right? So we may as well get some assets for the future. May as well save money on the cap. See, I do like money.
Do you?
Deal. Yes.
When did you change, Terry?
You know, it's whatever. But so they're not pulling the wool over our eyes, because we always buy for their BS. This time they say, hey, you know what? Not going anywhere. Season's done. Let's trade some assets.
Is this BS
done
though?
More.
Are we buying it different? Is this same old Lions differently?
No.
You know, like, are we
No,
are they selling us something, or is this the truth?
They wouldn't have done anything and said, hey guys, we're still in it. We're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, so let's fight for that playoff spot. That's what the old Lions would have done.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Rich Diana, WWE Neil. No, Rich, that's other people in this town that we've seen kind of go through their index talking points and, you know, do their takes and all that kind of stuff. I've held true with this. I'm maybe the only one around here that's held true the whole time through. Everybody just kind of moves goalposts and change their opinions and stuff like that. It's apparent. And my line of thinking into last year, who opened up my eyes to this, is the guy who self-proclaimed says, I never really thought about cap and stuff like that a lot, sits to my left with D-Mac. And he kind of painted the picture with my mind of Iserman's board in his office with the 2023 team, the 2024 team, the cap space, who do we have, how much is left on the contract. You see the roadmap, guys. I am legit pissed, though, about the people that are going to cry about TJ Hawkinson being gone. This is what you guys wanted. This is what you wanted. You say, oh, we stink. Okay, well, get the guys out of here that are mid. Why are they trading them? No. And then the other thing is, like, the other people instantly, and I heard this a lot around town too. Well, if you're trading Hawkinson, then why not DeAndre Swift? Why not Taylor Decker? Because their lot in life is not the same right now. DeAndre Swift, a $2 million player with another year on his deal. Taylor Decker you have for a couple more seasons, locked and loaded. Do we agree he's a good player?
Yes.
Yes, everybody agrees he's a good player. So, yes, you don't have to pay him in free agency coming up down the road. You don't have to give him a rookie option next season. And he's not mid. Like, TJ Hawkinson is mid. He's Logan Thomas. At his best, he's Logan Thomas. That's not my opinion. I just gave you guys the numbers. Because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not true. And I know everybody likes the hawk and the hair and all that kind of stuff. I'm not into it. You know what I'm into? I'm into the people that say, well, Brad Holmes, he didn't go get anybody in free agency after this year. With what? They have $3 million in cap space right now. With what? You know, now that they shipped off Hawkinson, they have $25 million in cap space. They can turn that into $50+ million with a couple of moves. Michael Brockers being one, which we will see.
That's going to happen for sure.
You see how this works, guys. You see how it works. And you're going to have this with 6 of the first 65 picks in the draft, with Aiden Hutchinson under contract, with Jamison Williams under contract, with all these draft picks that you have, Penei Sewell, gold jacket loading offensive, they're all under contract. 2024, all these draft picks will be under contract. Your whole offensive line are under contract. $30 million committed towards a quarterback already. That, by the way, doesn't have to be Jared Goff, with $115 million in cap space. So if you can't see that, then I can't help you. I'm done for a minute.
It's a good day. It is a good day. People will realize it at some point. You know, the problem in this town, you have so many people who still believe, no matter how dark it is for the Lions, that some way, somehow, they're going to crawl out of this and salvage the season. So they don't want to get rid of TJ Hawkinson. They don't want to get rid of anybody because, hell, the Lions are 1-6. That means they can finish 11-6. That's their mentality. Now, it's flawed, but that's why they're pissed.
That's what I saw yesterday. I saw Kerryon Johnson on Twitter, former Lions legend Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess they're just giving up. Yeah, they're giving up. They're 1-6. They have the worst defense in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
That's
They were
what
tired
bad
of drafting
teams do.
people like you.
Yeah, bad teams trade off players at the deadline. Good teams acquire them. We're a bad team. That's what we do. Like, you played football. You played in the NFL. You should know this. That's what happens. Yeah, they're just giving up because the season's over.
It's what it is.
Well,
Right.
but it gets me. So we've relegated the fact that here at Big D Energy that we want the tanks in the street, give you more options, keep that first overall pick, like you said, with 5 of the first 65. But the thing is, to Terry's point, it is doing it differently, and Brad Holmes is doing it differently. And yes, for everything that we say dysfunctional on the field as far as talent or coaching and stuff like this, behind the scenes, here's the thing. The game plan that Holmes had maybe is contingency number 2 or 3, but they're sticking with it. And the ownership is with them lockstep. They're telling you that. So this isn't going to change anytime soon. What I'm excited about, Neil, is that what you said, is that going into next year, right, that he better make a splash in free agency or something you would expect him to do because he's getting the money. It's sort of like where the Lions are behind where the Red Wings are. And you cannot not look at the tool chest. You can't look at the draft capital and the salary cap and the coaching, and you can't not put it all together. It's a recipe. It's a whole thing, right? So the best thing is if they continue to lose.
It
and
is.
Without their saying what you want about Hawkinson, yeah, he would. What should tell you about your team? This is what should tell you. If he's one of your best players and he's a mid player, your team sucks.